With Pride, gaining a better understanding of what's happening with your city and state elected officials, with encouragement for you to get involved. An exclusive sit-down with Salt Lake City, Utah Mayor Erin Mendenhall. You'll meet beautiful Bev and hear about her experience maintaining independent living. And we've got a free trip for you to win. It's all next on Living and Aging with Pride, and here's your host, James Brown.
Hey, welcome to Living and Aging with Pride. You know, we're standing in front of the capital of the state of Utah. It's important for you to understand that all the things that we need to happen sometimes starts with the policy. So all of us older adults need to come together, make sure we vote. Most importantly, make sure we talk to the leadership of our communities to make a difference in our life. The cost of health care, the cost of medicine, all of those things can be managed from this building if we all come together collectively to make a difference. Remember, if we want to live and age with pride, we've got to make sure we follow the steps of resolving the problems. And one of those steps is the policies that are instituted to govern how we buy our medication, how we get our affordable housing, and the things that we need to do to stay comfortable in life. So remember, Living and Aging with Pride is a voice for you at our Capitol. Welcome to Living and Aging with Pride. I'm James Brown, and I'm the luckiest man in the world because I'm in the house of the city, and I'm talking with Mayor Erin Mendenhall. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
It is an honor. Thank you for inviting me, James.
Well, you know, you're doing so much, and affordable, safe living is a big issue. Talk to me about what you're doing, what your thoughts are about that.
Yes, Utah has the fastest growing population in the United States of America. And the majority of the people who are growing that population are our children in the state of Utah. The rest, of course, are coming in because of this high quality of living, access to the outdoors, and this kind of small scale community feel compared to other capital cities. Right. And when we look at these market forces that are creating incredibly high housing prices and demand,
right.
I think it's the but-for of city work to figure out how do we keep our communities livable for the people who have called this place home and built who we are today.
Right.
In addition to that, how do we make space for the people who want to come in, for people's children to be able to put their roots down here? And so as a city, we have a number of tools from zoning, and we're looking right now at how do we expand even housing types to allow for things like tiny homes, right, or backyard mother-in-law apartments, which we expanded that access a few years ago. And then looking also at financing, whether it's property the city owns or that we help private development put more housing in places that they otherwise would not have. We want to see some degree of affordability built into the project that otherwise wasn't going to have affordability. And the deeper that affordability goes, meaning the lower the income, the less likely the market ever is to produce it. So the city works with the state and federal dollars that come through, but mostly with our own taxpayer dollars right here in the city to build more affordable housing. And we've seen thousands of units of affordable housing come online because of that in just the last couple of years.
The last time I looked around the whole state, they figured that we needed about 15,000 affordable units in the entire state. That's a lot of building, that's a lot of construction, that's a lot of identifying. Every population or every community is not faced with the same level of income. So you're having to pick and choose where you build that kind of stuff. How do you look at that as an opportunity for the city to really integrate the population and make sure you have the right location for affordable living?
What we know makes a great community is diversity. And I don't just mean skin color, racial, ethnic diversity, I
Right.
mean economic diversity
Right.
as well. You need to be able to have the people who are helping to teach your kids, who are your firefighters, who are running your buildings, be able to afford to live in the communities that they work in. For far too long, the city and private development have concentrated affordable housing opportunities in one part of our city, the west side of Salt Lake City. Lower land prices,
Right.
more land availability because less of it has been developed, and it's created an economy essentially on the west side of Salt Lake City that is having a very hard time.
Right.
People who can't afford necessarily to go out to dinner that night at the restaurant down the street, so the restaurant down the street closes.
Right.
There's not many places to get breakfast on the west side of Salt Lake City. There's hardly any coffee shops. And that's the kind of economic lens that
Right.
can tell us we need more economic diversity. I look at the east side of Salt Lake City, the Avenues area, even into Sugar House, where we have, according to
Thriving
HUD,
communities.
high opportunity
Right.
communities, access to transportation, groceries, the kind of amenities from daycare and otherwise
Nightlife and all kinds of
that
things. Yeah.
people want to be around to thrive. And the access and the proximity to it makes it more affordable. 'Cause
Right.
You're not having to get in your car to get there.
Right.
So we're looking for ways to expand what I call geographic equity. No matter what you make, what your income is, you should be able to choose what neighborhood you live in. If you work at the University of Utah, you want to live near the U so you can walk there.
Right.
We need to figure out ways to create more housing affordability across that spectrum of income throughout Salt Lake City.
So does that mean you're going to be spotting affordable housing in a lot of these upscale communities? You know, a lot of times the people in those communities don't want their tax, you know, the equity in their homes to go down because you built affordable housing there. Is that going to be a zoning? Is that a political or zoning issue that you're going to address so that you can, like you said, build in these communities that you don't expect to have affordable housing?
I actually want to unpack something that is a very common presumption in what you just said,
Okay.
which is the association of what affordability means for the rest of a community.
Right.
And that has had a largely negative connotation
Right.
throughout America's history. And there's a lot of reasons, and we can have another discussion
Right.
another time about the systemic systems that have concentrated
Right.
poverty and perpetuated poverty in parts of the United States.
Right.
That is not what we're talking about. And when you look in Salt Lake City at these affordable housing apartments, they are not in the context of an entire development of affordable apartments. They're in the context of maybe 30% of the units are priced to be affordable for a teacher,
Right.
for a person who's working in this facility right now, running our boiler system
Right.
and all of our HVAC. We need these people to be able to live in our communities with us, and they should have housing choices. But the kind of projects we're talking about, these developments, they are majority actually market rate housing most of the time. That means
Most of the time.
whatever the market will bear, that's what those
And it's
housing
pretty
units
scary
are
right
priced.
now because market rate is going skyrocketing.
It is. So we as a city are investing in mixed income development projects that are
Right.
happening. Apartments, condos, even townhomes. That's what we want to see in Salt Lake City to fit families,
Right.
couples, individuals who need different sizes of housing, want different types of housing, and want to be able to live, work, and play where they want to.
Up next, we continue our conversation with Salt Lake City Mayor Erin Mendenhall and a better understanding of affordable living for seniors. Living and Aging with Pride continues after this.
From St. George to Logan, from Vernal to Tooele, Utah is as diverse as the communities that call this great state home. We'll never stop telling stories that make a difference to you and your family. When Utah changes, we change with it. Adapting to our new environment, overcoming any and all challenges, and creating memories that last a lifetime. ABC4 News is committed to Utah. ABC4 News is good for Utah.
Our history, like dreams, is made up of stories, giving life, laughter, and the knowledge of what's come before. We find the worth of Utah's history by telling its great stories. And those stories, they help shape our future. You know, all we need to do is stroll about with our eyes open. Catch Worth Watching Mondays and Sundays on ABC4 News at 10. Good for Utah.
I'm in the House of the City and I'm talking with Mayor Erin Mendenhall. What is the most significant thing as you look at the older population and as you look at the need for affordable, safe living?
If a part of that spectrum, when we talk about building space for people to live where they want to live in the communities they want to live in and do so affordably, that absolutely includes people with more lived experience.
Right.
And being able to age in place, whether that's the house you've been in for 50 years or you actually want to live in a tighter knit community, not in a single family home.
The seniors want to live and die, if you will, and I don't mean that we want you to die, but they want to live and die where they live at. They want to be able to rest in peace at the homes that they've resided in for years and years. So that is a big issue.
But property taxes are skyrocketing because land values and housing values are skyrocketing, and it's pricing out people who have worked their entire lives to be able to afford a retirement in a place that they love, in a place that they've worked so hard on. With these property taxes climbing up, it's becoming increasingly difficult, and we are pricing out people. The market is pricing out people. So that's part of the challenge to any city who sincerely and really desperately wants to be able to keep people in their homes when they want to stay. The accessory dwelling units, those mother-in-law apartments, that was a major shift that had waited 9 years in City Hall for a decision. But we heard from resident after resident who said just that. I want to be able to stay in my home, but I need extra income to be able to afford to stay in my home because of these housing costs. It would also be nice, many of them told me, to have someone help shovel the driveway, rake the leaves, someone who I choose, who lives here, and using my equity in my home to be able to create that space. That was what I think shifted the mother-in-law discussion in Salt Lake City over the line to yes. To yes, to be able to keep our community intact and support our aging population to stay where they want to stay and be a part of the community.
We're living with pride with this mayor. We're going places. Before we close out, you've got tiny homes. Tell us a bit about the tiny homes and what your goals are with that.
Well, you mentioned something about staying and the desire of people to stay where they have been.
Right.
But we also see something fascinating happening with the younger generation and a generation a little bit older than myself who are looking at downsizing, living in a community that has more proximity to recreation and arts and entertainment, and not wanting the burden of a large household that they've carried for so long. Tiny homes are a solution that we're seeing across the country. Locally, we've been talking about them as one way to create perhaps some inroads for people who've chosen homelessness, for the chronic homelessness. But the tiny home application is so much more than that. We're seeing people who want to travel more, who don't want to pay an HOA fee, who don't want to have someone have to take care of their home, choosing these 650 square foot or smaller sized units that are beautiful and dynamic and in tighter knit communities, especially when you cluster them together. So we're changing our zoning. We're working with nonprofit partners trying to figure out how do we get more of this, because we have none right now, but we want to see it in more parts of Salt Lake City and hopefully in parts of our community that are connected to the entertainment and the resources that people need and want.
So you're going to build all of that so that people don't have to go anywhere. You're going to have shops and movies and all that kind of stuff in the communities where people live at, so they don't have to spend money to go anywhere. It's going to be a real prosperous community, and everybody's going to be happy, and we won't have any more problems. Done deal.
I wish it were that easy, but let me, if I could end by saying,
Please.
that Salt Lake City has that. We have lots of those communities,
Right.
and we're a community of intention. People live in this city on purpose. It's not necessarily easier to get housing here. It's not necessarily easier to keep your housing
Right.
here. And that, I think that intention that brings us here as Salt Lakers is intrinsic to the character of our community. And so I don't have to say we're gonna build all that, because that fabric of the community and the businesses, small businesses, restaurants, entertainment, arts venues, they are here.
Absolutely.
Our job is to figure out how to fit more of the living into that which is already built here, and we can do it.
We can do it. I'm talking to Mayor Mendenhall. We're talking about community ties. We're talking about affordable living, affordable and safe living. Thank you for being my guest. I love you, and I see why you're the greatest mayor in the universe, because you're doing the job.
Thank you, James.
We all need the help. So until next time, I'm James Brown, and you're not. Have a great day.
When we come back, it's another informative house call. We meet Bev, 86 years young and a beautiful woman who helps us understand independent living and what you need to look for. Living and Aging with Pride continues after this.
From St. George to Logan, from Vernal to Tooele, Utah is as diverse as the communities that call this great state home. ABC4 News is committed to Utah. ABC4 News is good for Utah.
We find the worth of Utah's history by telling its great stories. And those stories, they help shape our future. Catch Worth Watching Mondays and Sundays on ABC4 News at 10.
Yeah, hello. I'm really not sure if this is what you all do, but I really don't have anywhere else to turn.
My thoughts are going a mile a minute. I left the service last year. My mom just passed away a few months ago.
My buddies from the Army are gone now. I'm really alone.
I feel so stuck.
I'm glad you called. Let's stay on the line and walk through some things.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, welcome to Living and Aging with Pride. And I told you I'm coming to your house next, so check us out. I have the pleasure to speaking with Bev Cray, and she's going to tell us about what it's like living here. What kind of place is this, Bev?
I came to this senior living place, which is called Legacy Village of
Right.
Sugar House.
Okay.
And little did I know that I had been dropped into the most beautiful place in Utah, and
So you like it?
I love it. Legacy has independent living, assisted living, and memory care. And so I'm here for the rest of my life.
So do you get out about by yourself? Do you go walk around?
Oh, absolutely. And there's everything here. I mean, I walk out the door, there's a beautiful little park with a babbling brook. There's restaurants, there's stores. It has been a big change. I downsized into a tiny little apartment, 730 square feet with my
Right.
cat. Got rid of everything, and I love it. It was
Right.
the best decision not to have all that bulk with you. And what I found out when I moved into Legacy, that most of the people are here because they have a child here. And they don't want to live with a child, so this is the second best place to be.
Right.
And we're very happy here. I've met a lot of friends that I really value now in my
Right.
heart. We do a lot of activities. Legacy is very careful about making sure that They stimulate us mentally and physically. They have tons of things to do every day.
So what would be your message to other seniors, other young 85-year-olds about living in this kind of circumstance?
Well, let me say, when I came here, I came with the attitude that this is a new adventure.
Right.
At this stage of my life, this is a wonderful new adventure for me. And people were kind of taken back that I had that attitude, because so many people came here because their children say, you have to come closer to me.
Right.
You have to move from East Coast. You have to be here. I have friends from Maine, North Carolina, New York, New Jersey, and they're here and they thought, oh, dear me, kind of hard to leave home. I thought this is a fabulous adventure this time of my life. I love it. I love it.
And I think that's the proper attitude to have. You need
For me, it is.
You need to extend your life, and the only way to do that is think positive about it and do something positive about it.
Well, yes.
And you're doing something positive.
Oh, I think I am. Yes, I'm enjoying every day. Yeah.
Well, Bev, I love you much. Thank you for being a guest and for sharing.
Thank you for asking me.
Your
Anytime, anytime.
We're going to do it all the time.
I hope so.
You see what I'm talking about? They like me in their houses. So open your doors and let's make a difference. Thank you, Bev.
You're welcome.
Have we got a getaway opportunity for you through our friends at Incentivize Travel? And it's free. We explain next.
Since it was founded, the United Nations has brought people together to tackle important issues in the world. And in 2015, its member nations adopted the Sustainable Development Goals, a global to-do list through the year 2030.
These are tangible ways we can strive to end extreme poverty, protect the planet, and ensure prosperity for all.
Local chapters in the Rocky Mountain region are working to make sure these initiatives are met.
Across the world and at home.
We are connecting rural and indigenous communities to the world through broadband internet access.
We are working to support the thousands of refugees who have come to our states for better lives.
Together, we can meet the challenges we're facing.
Join your local chapter of the United Nations Association of the United States of America.
The UN begins with you.
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 Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about volunteering, why it's important to you, why it's important to others. And my guests today, I've got Joy McNamee and Jill Duke here. Welcome to the show, ladies. Thank you for being here. Let's start off with, why is volunteering important?
Volunteering is important in a community setting because, one, it's a great way to let your neighbors and fellow community members know that you care. It's a profound way to make a difference in the lives of other people. We all fall on hard times, and it's great to be able to support each other. And of course, it's good for you as the volunteer. It's a great way to stay engaged, stay connected, stay active, and have a sense of purpose.
You want to add to that?
Well, and I think, yes, volunteering is so helpful, especially as you get older. It really just helps you with your health, with your mental health. It makes you feel connected in your community. And it really, helps you to be able to get other friends and to be able to reach out and to do so many good things that just help you give back to your community after a great life for you, that you're able to give back and help
So
others.
life is not lost just because you've gotten older. You don't have your family around. You can volunteer, support the community, come out and do something, not only for others, but for yourself. Tell me about the things that I need to do to get involved with you folks.
Well, I would think, honestly, where are your interests and your passions? What do you like? What do you like? Who would you like to help? There's a lot of places if you like to help children, you can help in the schools. You can help in libraries. You can help, many places. And of course, if you want to help with, with seniors or different things, you can call Salt Lake County Aging. But I think of what you kind of have an interest in, a passion that you care about, and you can find a place almost anywhere, any organization that you could call. There's so many places in our community, in our state, where you can call, and people would be so glad to receive your help and knowledge.
So do you do any outreach yourselves to bring in the aging population, to get them involved in this kind of thing? And probably that would be a question for you.
You bet. We love volunteers at Aging and Adult Service, and that's not unique to Salt Lake County Aging and Adult Services. But volunteers, we have almost 2,500 active volunteers at Aging and Adult Services, and they help us increase our capacity as a division by almost twofold. So the number of volunteer hours, we do the math, we calculate that, and it equals about 150 full-time employees, which doubles our reach. So these folks are delivering meals, they are visiting isolated seniors. If there's somebody who is unable to leave the house very comfortably on their own, they can volunteer as part of our Friendly Caller program, and they can volunteer right from their house. So we've got many options in addition to the ones I just mentioned for folks who want to come join our team.
We've been talking about volunteering, and here's a way you can do that. Let me tell you, it's a fun thing to be able to help someone else. Come to the food bank, you can put cans of food into a box, and you're helping someone thrive and survive in life, and that's also good for you. And for all of you who are aging out there, you're getting older, you don't have any time to do anything but sit in the house, hey, come out and volunteer. This is a good thing, and this is worthy of your time, your wisdom, and your knowledge. You're helping someone else. So let's get together and let's do it.
In association with our show's travel partner, Incentivize Travel, Living and Aging with Pride is proud to offer an incredible Mexican vacation to 2 lucky winners to the beautiful Hilton Tulum Riviera Maya all-inclusive resort on Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. Hilton Tulum Riviera Maya all-inclusive resort is a natural sanctuary situated directly on the white sand and clear waters of a pristine and secluded bay that feels like a private beach. With 735 rooms and suites, 13 all-inclusive restaurants and bars, and a luxury spa, you can disconnect from the ordinary and connect with the extraordinary at this all-inclusive resort. Visit our website, livingwithpride.org, click on the Incentivize Vacation Giveaway, and you'll be entered to win this incredible vacation. Incentivize Travel is your travel company to engage, recognize, and reward. Enter today at www.livingwithpride.org.
Consistent, reliable, dedicated. ABC4 News is committed to Utah, committed to telling your story. Day in and day out, ABC4 News is good for Utah.
Seniors, you deserve a TV show to help you in all aspects of the aging process, from financial to medical, travel to peace of mind. Watch Living and Aging with Pride. Living and Aging with Pride on Utah's ABC4, Sunday mornings at 10:30, and find out more